Hey everybody, welcome back to LEGO Space. Today we're going to do a little update on the teardown of the middle section here. Kind of wanted to show you guys some stuff that I did a lot of changes right at the top here for supporting the upper decks and everything. And I figured I'd show that off. This is something that I'm kind of taking my time with. I'm saving as much of it as I can and taking pictures. I didn't do any of that with the bow. I just kind of took it apart, saved some stuff, but on the center section I changed so much in the support structure for these upper decks that it's going to be hard to recreate that and remember that if I don't try to save as much as possible and take pictures. I'll show you guys down in the bucket what I've saved so far. Already I learned my lesson from the bow to save the entire sections that I built for that actually support the smokestacks, just because I had a hard time remembering how I blocked out certain windows on some things on the other ones. So I saved those, and then some of these bigger sections that I did, blacked out the windows. I just kind of saved some of that, less stuff that I have to try to think about later, and then some of these other sections of the upper decks that I tried to save as much as possible. And because when I built this, I changed a lot. I added, if you guys look in here, you guys can see that light gray, those big light gray, not tiles, but just the flat pieces down in there, plates. And you guys can see there's light gray plates that run the whole length of the thing. And basically what I did as I was building this is I built up a lot of internal support to hold that, and then I was able to change stuff around and re-support stuff. Now the reason I went through all that was just basically solely so I could block out these windows. You guys can see I have dark gray pieces up against those windows, and they look nice and dark when all the deck is built on top of them, and you don't see a bunch of goofy stuff going on in there. And I'll show you just on one half here on what LEGO has you do. You guys can see there's a lot of these browns, blues, these arches, yellow pieces, and all that stuff. Once you put those windows there, you can see all of that stuff in there when you look through those windows, and I didn't like that. So I basically had to keep in mind and count how far in, how far out, and how tall these clip supports were for clipping in the benches. And I had to basically just put those in as their own units and really change it around. But you guys can see from, flip this around here. So this is the front of this section right here. So you guys can get a little bit better visual. So you guys can see what LEGO has you do and then what I ended up doing. So big difference on this. So I'm trying to take my time, take pictures, and give myself enough memory here, so that way after I build the all the mods down here with the steering tires, there's 2 sets of steer tires that are going to go in this. They do not affect the back wall of the other half of the boiler room, and my engine room that I created in this. Like I said before, luckily I get to keep all that because the wheels and everything are just on the other sides of that. But I am going to have to make sure that I take time once I have all that lower work done to start rebuilding supports in there, so that way I can basically rebuild all this as I have it right now. I really don't want to have to go and try to change any of that because it was a lot of work. This is a couple days of just trying to figure out where things are, where positions are, making sure everything's right in the right position, so when I build the decks, everything goes on correct. So that's a lot of hard work that I don't feel like just losing and trying to remember how I had it, or trying to rebuild it and messing it up. So I'm going to do myself a favor. Like I said, I've already started taking a lot of pictures. I'm saving more pieces this go around, just to try to alleviate a lot of stress of trying to figure out how all this is going to go back together again. I am going to do my best to save as much of all this other support structure that I built in here, try to take those out in sections, photograph everything really well, so that way I know exactly where stuff went. And the biggest thing is, once I get down to this gray layer of plates, I'm going to have to really take pictures of how high up that is with inside the ship, and then I can basically have my base. Because if you look at it, you guys can see I basically just started with a flat base. I built up all my supports underneath that. This stuff is really tough. You can push on it really hard, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a lot of support structure to build more support structure upon. So I mean, this thing is pretty solid. Unlike what Lego has you do, where you have a lot of gaps, and once you start building stuff on top of that, it's not too strong. I built this really strong, so along with having the ability to black out the windows, or gray out the windows in this case, and have all that support structure again, I just really have to keep an eye on what I'm doing and just go from there. But I figured I would show you guys at least this part of it. I think once I get down and remove this gray layer of plates, I'll do another little update video, so that way you guys can see all what's going on inside of there. And then probably just get it tore apart the rest of the way there, because you should be able to see, once I tear all that out, you guys will be able to see my engine room, how far that goes into there, and how I figured all that up. So, but there's an update for you guys on taking apart the middle section. A lot more into this one than actually on the bow. I did end up redoing a lot of stuff on the bow a little differently, and for the best. But on the center section here, I did a really nice job with this, and I want to make sure I repeat the process just as it is right now. So we're gonna do our best to save all that stuff. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this update. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, take care.